Good evening, Mila. Do you hear me? Yes.
Good evening. Yes, I can hear you.
And good evening, Andrii.
Hello.
You hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. It is very, very late. I understand it is more than 1 o'clock in the morning in Kyiv and almost as late in Munich. We really appreciate your presence. I will start by presenting your work to the audience. When we have a chance, we'll show you the audience. Alors, I'll do that in French, and then I'll come back in English as soon as it is done. Donc, les deux cinéastes les deux membres du collectif Babylon'13, Mila Zhluktenko est née à Kyiv, a grandi et a étudié au cinéma à l'Université de film et télévision à Munich, en Allemagne. Depuis, elle a réalisé plusieurs courts-métrages qui ont été sélectionnés et primés dans les grands festivals internationaux, dont Vision du réel, IDFA à Amsterdam, Doc Leipzig, Directors Fortnight au MoMA de New York et plusieurs autres. Mila est aussi monteuse, donc elle a participé à d'autres films à ce titre-là. Ses principales réalisations sont Aralkum en 2022, qui porte sur l'assèchement de la mer Aral, Opera Glasses en 2019, dans lequel elle suit des femmes qui travaillent dans un vestiaire à l'Opéra de Kyiv, Find, Fix, Finish en 2017, qui porte sur des soldats américains qui dirigent des drones en Asie pour aller assassiner des soi-disant terroristes. En 2018, elle rejoint Babylon'13 et suite à l'invasion de l'Ukraine par la Russie en février dernier, elle a créé la campagne de sociofinancement Filmmakers at War, qui est maintenant terminée et qui a permis d'acheminer de l'équipement aux cinéastes en Ukraine. Andrii Kotliar a étudié en cinéma à l'Université de cinéma, film, théâtre et télévision de Kyiv. En 2014, au moment de la Révolution de la dignité, il rejoint Babylon'13. Les sujets de ses films portent sur ces points tournants pour l'Ukraine que constituent la Révolution de la dignité et l'invasion de la Russie dans ses aspects sociaux, politiques et culturels. Il est aussi conférencier au département de cinéma de son université et impliqué dans plusieurs organisations cinématographiques ukrainiennes. Directeur photo et producteur, il a été impliqué dans plusieurs œuvres, dont War Note de Roman Libby, un film qui a été réalisé à partir de vidéos personnelles de volontaires dans l'armée ukrainienne, qui a obtenu le prix du public et une mention spéciale du jury de Human Rights Film Festival. Il a été producteur de Between the Frames de la réalisatrice Anastasia Tika. Et il est actuellement producteur d'un projet en cours qui s'appelle Iron Butterflies, dont Mila est co-réalisatrice. So, first of all, maybe I would ask you, both of you, if one of you could remind us the events which in 2013 and 2014 led to the creation of Babylon'13.
Good evening to all. Thanks for coming. I'll give a quick introduction. Yes, in the end of 2013, a revolution of dignity was started in Ukraine. It was a revolution against our former pro-Russian president that decided to deny, to close all way to go to European Union for Ukraine. And of course, filmmakers couldn't be away from the protest, from the violation of human rights, from the riot police, from the government officials. And Babylon'13 created a couple of filmmakers created Babylon'13 in the very beginning of it, I think in 2 or 3 first day. And after a couple months of revolution, I think dozens of filmmakers joined Babylon'13. I was in third years of study at film university, so it was an honor for me to join this collective, because it was a lot of more famous, well-known filmmakers from Ukraine that already were in Babylon'13, and it was important for me to study in somehow to work with them in the field together. So it was a very quick course for me. And before Revolution of Dignity and before 2013, I couldn't imagine that I would work mostly in documentary fields. But now most of my job is, of course, on documentary fields, and most of them it's about being a cinematographer or producing by myself full-length project, different kind of, actually. So yeah, now it's so we worked for all these years, and now it's kind of course it's unfortunately events, but it's second renaissance for Babylon'13, because a lot of filmmakers joined us again, and now we're working to share a truth about what's going on in Ukraine, to deban Russian propaganda, destroy fakes, and yeah, telling the truth about Ukrainian heroism, about heroism of our nation, about bravery, I think. So yeah, maybe this is from my side.
Thank you very much. Est-ce que tout le monde a compris? Est-ce que vous avez besoin qu'on traduise? Non, c'est bon. Okay, thank you, Andrii. Would you like to add something, Mila, concerning your joining to the Babylon'13?
I can add that I got to know Andrii after the Revolution of Dignity, which I was living through while I was studying documentary in Munich, where we had our little own mini Maidan movement also, but it's nothing in comparison to Kiev and Ukraine, of course. But as you know, in the diaspora, we always try to be active and to be there. And I can only add that the work of Babylon'13 provides a huge amount of footage that is very valuable for us now and for the generations to come. And I think the work that you are doing is super important for Ukrainians and for us to be seen, but also to see ourselves. And I really like the style of the films that are being made and the different voices that you can see through Babylon. Yeah.
Thank you, Mila. And maybe I would ask you, the first question is that Babylon'13 presents itself as a cinema of civil society, a new form of civic journalism. Could you talk to us a little bit about the necessity of new narratives, not the official version of history? What kind of new narratives do you want to bring?
So it was created as a cinema of civil protest, because it was based on a protest, and we think that it's important to show the world another point of view from revolution, because we had a lot of TV channels from Ukraine, from around the world, filming and recording something during Revolution of Dignity in Kiev or in Ukraine. But I think what we bring to people, it's more cinematic point of view. It's more place about thinking. So we didn't give that exact narrative as journalists do, with, you know, narrator in a frame talking about something, describing something. So you could follow our video of short films and think about what's going on, to see a portrait of people's portrait from the Maidan and another actions that took place during revolution. So I think it's mostly about giving people another point of view. So of course we took side from the very beginning. We understood that we will be with our people. We won't be so-called like 0-point documentary to follow something, that we are all of us Ukrainians, and we hope and we will do our best to our country. And I think that was a spirit, to tell the story about Ukrainians to the world. And after Maidan, I met people who understood revolution from our film. So they decided to not follow any official news, to not follow some journalist report, to just following YouTube channel and find the nerve of it. I don't know.
Yeah, this is, I suppose, the meaning of what I read in one of your manifesto documentary as a tool to change the world.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit pathetic or something like this. It may sound pathetic. First of all, a feature called stronger than arms, because our cameras can be stronger than arms. But now, after full Russian invasion, I'm not sure about it. So for me now, I don't find a proper answer. Does it stronger than a weapon or no? But I think I'll find out someday.
Well, we wish you will. Maybe another aspect of your cinema, your intervention is, from what I understand, when you say civil society, cinema of the civil society, is a desire to dialogue with people, not only to explain the situation, but dialogue with them and have their own view on the situation. We could see, we just seen the film Who is Putin, and we could see how people react to your not you personally, but to the director's question and dialogue. But sometimes it becomes very intense. Some exchanges become intense. For example, we will see later a film about the Romani people who participated to the war, but still feel that they are not considered equal to the Ukrainians. There is also another film that was shot before the war, after Maidan, and we see an exchange between soldiers who are gathering food and peasants. And one peasant actually was very negative. All the other are very responding, but this one is very negative. So they have to have a real debate, which we don't really see very often in progressive film. How do you react to that?
Oh, it's it's not actually complicated. I just think that, of course, it's about debate, different point of views. But for cinema of civil society, for me personally, and for most of colleagues from Babylon'13, it was interesting to follow, and it is interesting now to follow how civil society rise up in Ukraine, how small initiatives became a bigger one, became a reform pusher. When the people from Maidan went to Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and like regular people without I don't know, big power or something like this, they provided a lot of reforms, and it was very interesting for me to follow the stories, how regular people can change. Maybe some of them changed in a scale of a country, but we followed like people that changed some, I don't know, fixed the road in the villages or something like this. And this was important for me to follow as a documentary filmmaker. And about Rome people, yes, I think in a lot of countries they felt a bit insecure because of the style they live in. I don't think that in Ukraine they have some bad treat or something like this, or good treat or something like this. Yes. So they just try to support in the way they can. And I hope in the future we'll have a wide dialogue about the place in a society they will take, and we can normalize a relationship. But I were in Uzhhorod a couple times, the place where the most of Rome community lived. It's a west part in Ukraine, very close to Hungary. And I didn't feel that they, I don't know, felt ashamed or something like this. They lived in normal cities, normal villages. Of course, they had a community, let's say, that have unusual living style. Let's say it like this. But that's a style, and that's how it's a way what is comfort for them. I don't have any problem to film them or something like this.
Yeah,
and our filmmakers who filmed this story, Ivan, he told that he didn't have either any problem with this.
Yes, that's what is interesting, is that it's not you're not trying to hide the contradictions or discussion or exchanges between the people. So I thought it was very rich in on a social issue to address these questions. Maybe I would ask Mila if there is editorial lines about the films. Do everybody film their own ideas, and do you discuss them collectively, or is there some films that do the films have to obey or correspond to some editorial line?
Well, I'm not actively filming with Babylon'13. I'm more in the background with logistics and help from here, from Europe.
But maybe you can describe from your side about what's interesting with the style in general. Maybe you heard something from your colleague from Munich or something like this. What's the difference between our community and European point of view on revolution of dignity or into the war? Something like this. I think you have something to say about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm super emotional about this. So I can only say that for me, I have the feeling that the films of course take sides, but they are films of a Ukrainian point of view, and I think it's a very important thing that these are films made by Ukrainians who are active citizens and thinking active citizens that want to do something for the future of their country. And I have the feeling that from the films that I've seen of Babylon, that many voices and many styles can be there, close to each other, and it has through that some kind of democratic feel to it, because you have different filmmakers expressing themselves, but there is a style, I guess, to Babylon videos, which is very pure documentary, and which is showing you one situation in a very calm and how to say it, like a camera that can wait, like a cinematic language that is very not hectic, and it gives you patience, like it has the patience to wait, and through that the films have very special moments and very special situations that they can capture. And you can see how people who are being filmed at some point have often the urge also to talk, and then they start to open up to the camera. And I think that this is very special about Babylon'13, that they are bringing films in that high standard and quality, but they are being produced and distributed right now when the things are happening. And it was the same with Revolution of Dignity. So they are not being shown 6-8 months after everything happened on festivals, but they are now here, and we can, I think, experience the spirit of the people and the discussions and the dialogue in a more intense way through those films than through news channels or through lines in the magazines. So I have the feeling that they bring you really the spirit also of Ukrainians very close and very prompt and quickly.
Yeah, I think this is what makes them so precious
Yes.
for other people, so to understand, to have a glimpse of what is going on really in Ukraine.
Yes.
I will ask.
And it's not about facts, it's about the feeling, a real feeling that you get, and like a real situation, and you can see one space, and
Yes.
from that you can feel the structure and the materiality of what is happening and what's the situation now.
Thank you. Est-ce que quelqu'un aurait une question à poser? Oui. Ce qu'on s'était dit, c'est vous pouvez poser la question fort, puis je vais la traduire.
Parce que je pensais y aller en ukrainien, donc доброго вечора. Дуже дякую вам за вашу роботу, і хотілося подякувати також всьому колективу Babylon'13 за їхню відчайдушність, що вони ризикують своїм життям для того, щоб все-таки задокументувати ці переживання і, на жаль, цю трагедію, яка відбувається на нашій землі, і цей геноцид. Мені хотілося запитати, я не знаю, чи це ви були до того зв'язані, але чому саме, наприклад, для вас було важливо саме показати, наприклад, бо ми дивилися зараз відео про те, як людей евакуювали були з Слов'янська, і чому саме, наприклад, ось ця сценка з поїздом, що це мало як значення для вас, як для колективу? Можливо, це не ви знімали, але як ви це відчуваєте в глобальному контексті війни?
Так, розумію.
Так. Дякую.
We'll just translate it first.
Je peux traduire en même temps. Donc, merci le collectif de Babylon'13 pour leur courage de documenter ces expériences malheureusement tragiques pour les Ukrainiens. Et en fait, je me demandais pourquoi est-ce que c'était la situation du train qui était prise, quelle était sa signification symbolique. Puis en fait, c'était son importance dans le contexte de la guerre en Ukraine, selon les cinéastes.
Merci beaucoup. So now we understood the question. We will expect the answer.
Yeah, so I'll answer the wide way about our interest in trains and railway station. So the difference between Revolution of Dignity and current war is that Revolution of Dignity was take place in a couple cities, and most of the events was in a couple blocks, maybe, I don't know, dozens, 3-4 dozen streets. And it was our city, and we understood how to follow it. And here it's a large scale invasion, I know, largest since Second World War. And it came up with another, not just places, but how would say in English,
Motives.
So railway station start to be not just about logistic. It's started to be about human life and about human spirit at all. And from very beginning, from the evacuation of, you know, in the first 2 weeks, more 4 million people evacuated from the central and east part in Ukraine, 4 million. And most of them did it by trains. So it came with not just a huge logistic place, but with a place where a lot of things happened. And dozens of filmmakers followed this because it was, okay, maybe interesting, it's not the right and the proper word, but it was. And I followed the train station in Lviv, and I saw how people evacuated to Poland and how they came from the war zone. And it was like, I don't know, Hieronymus Bosch picture or something like this, whereas hundreds of events going on and going on and going on. And the history of that movie you saw, it came from ideas that we had to follow the evacuation train and so-called life train. That we followed the story from this person who worked in a how would say проводник, Mila, in English? Conductor, yes, conductors. Sorry, my English is pretty, I don't know, in this hours it can be not so good. But yeah, a lot of conductors we followed. And it's like one of the bravest people I saw in my life, because I know the story that one conductor lived for 41 days in a train without any outside entering something like that. 41 days, and she took more than 15 trips from Kharkiv to Lviv, so it's 20 hours each. So it was a beginning of the story. And after you realize that you're gonna take a lot of hours with these people, and questioning, it's not really our strong side, like in a journalistic way, about where you're from, dozens of big questionnaire. So I think most of filmmakers try to find the wind in this pause or something like this, how to, I know, maybe ask one question but to the whole train,
yes,
or something like this, just to figure it out, because we have to give the audience time to think. Maybe this is most idea.
Thank you. Time is running fast. Il reste un petit peu plus de 5 minutes. Alors, si vous voulez poser une question, je vous encourage à le faire tout de suite. Il me semblait qu'il y avait quelqu'un là-bas qui voulait poser une question tantôt. Non? Oui. Oh, the question is, why do you call yourself Babylon'13?
It's a nice and very quick story. There is a famous Ukrainian movie, Babylon'13. It's iconic picture, so-called Ukrainian poetic cinema from 1980. And the first place where Babylon'13 office was, it was a cinema house in Kiev. And cinema house is a cafe called Babylon. It's dedicated to the movie, and the Wi-Fi name on this cafe was Babylon'13 because it was 2013. So so this is it.
It's a nice metaphor.
Yes, when we are not a religion organization, and some
you hear, I think you hear the people who are
we have followers just on YouTube.
Well, yeah, we also follow you on YouTube. Yes. Maybe I have another question. You or Mila could answer. We see from the films of Babylon'13 the importance of the cultural. There will be a film later tonight about artists who create mobile little oven, and to warm up the militaries and the civils. And we see also some citizens trying to protect the monuments of the city with sand bags. How in your work do you articulate cultural and politics?
Oh,
Is that
this is hard. I think it's every of this topic for me is about civil society. Is it maybe we have here not very strong government institution, unfortunately. That maybe Ministry of Culture in a progressive country can think about how they can protect statues or monuments.
Yes.
But here we have a volunteer and civil society in Ukraine, and the people that can protect with the bags and with everything, because it's important to have our monuments because they are ours. That's the monuments of founder of Kiev, and maybe that's the spirit actually.
Yes.
And with the Sporik it's the same. Good story is that after this film was released, they have orders for next half of years or something like this.
To protect other monuments?
No, to make a little oven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's another story. So basically, for me, it's a story about amazing Ukrainians and how they can change. So reality changed our lives, but we are still all of us still trying to do something for our military, for our volunteers, for our people, and it's great. I walked every day around city of around center of Kiev, and I saw this protected monuments.
Yes,
it's nice, and especially with the churches, it's a strong feeling when you saw old Orthodox church protected by some bags with the sand and something like this. It's about humanity,
yes,
in general.
Yes, and the importance of cultural identities also, I suppose.
Sure.
Alors, il resterait du temps pour une autre question? Ah, okay. Someone understands that you're in your editing room right now?
Yeah.
Would you mind showing it to us?
Okay, no problem. Just a second.
Yes.
So here we are. Sorry for interrupt, Roma. Here is one of our director, Roman Luby. Together with Roma and Mila, now we are working on a project called Iron Butterflies.
Yes.
It's a hybrid documentary about MH17 shutdown. And Roma and Mila soon will present this project via Sheffield Documentary Film Festival.
Yes.
In the work in progress section, and I hope we will have a Canadian, North American premiere next year. Maybe.
Oh, that would...
yeah, we'll definitely have some. So this is our place for helmets and sleeping bags and flak jackets.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's our camera, or maybe you don't see the cameras, but anyway, just they're there, and walkie-talkies and everything, and some place to eat, actually some place to sleep. So something exists, and yeah, we have an office in the center of Kiev, an old building, and yeah, nothing very interesting actually. Just an editing room. We have two of stations for editing.
Yes.
And a couple of groups edit every day something.
So this is going to be a feature-length documentary.
Yeah.
Maybe just to finish this exchange, I would ask Mila if you can talk to us about a little bit about this film that's coming.
Yes.
How you had the idea. And
yes, Roman is working on this topic since I think 4 years at least. And after I shot my film in Kiev together with Andrii and some other Babylonians, Andrii asked me if I would like to join this project as a script advisor and like in dramaturgical questions. So then I came to Kiev and we spent some time with Roman, and he pitched the project to me and I liked it from the beginning. It's about the downing of the flight of the Boeing number MH17, which was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur. And it was flying over the Donbas region in the summer of 2014, where it was downed with a Russian Buk missile. And it was shot down, and maybe you know that the court is still going on with this case. And through this case, we can show a lot of dynamics that have been going on. And I think this case shows a lot, like in a very clear way, how we cannot let dictatorships or countries make crimes and stay unpunished, because in a way, this was the moment where all Ukrainians thought that, okay, now Russia will get sanctions in a very much more serious way than it was done. And now the war will be stopped in the Donbas region, and now the world will actually see what we are going through.
Yes.
But it didn't happen. And in a way, it was a place where the road could go in this direction or in this direction. And I think we as world society have missed this point. And I think this work and this film can show it in a very beautiful way. Also, it will not be an investigative film or a film that will try to explain the facts, but we are going to show it through artistic measures, and to bring some this feeling and these thoughts and a more abstract picture to the surface. I hope, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We'll be looking forward to seeing your film and we'll keep on and we'll keep in touch with Babylon'13. I think we are all the people here. I think I can speak in their name that we are very, very grateful that you took the time to talk to us tonight, and we're doing our best to support you. And now I think we'll have to let you go to sleep.
Yes, thanks again for having us and for screening our films. It's important to understand that we can talk to international audience, and actually, yeah, I like this screenings, and it would be great after COVID and everything to have a physical screening also, but eventually maybe it's a normal and proper way to have feedback and to understand it. So thanks a lot, and enjoy the second part of the screening. I think it will be a more shorter film,
Yes.
but from different directors and about different topics. So yeah, we have all of this and a lot of others in our YouTube channel, most of them already with English subtitles, or it's coming in a couple next weeks. So yeah.
Thank you very much, and have a good projection. And yeah, thanks for coming and being interested.
Thank you to you.
Героям слава!
Героям слава!
Героям слава!
Thank you. Good night.